Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Camp, and welcome back to the 1996 Project. No time to waste. It's a busy one this week. Let's just jump right into it. Let's kick things off with Diabolique.
What are you so jumpy about?
Diabolique was directed by Jeremiah S. Chechik and starred Sharon Stone, Isabelle Adjani, I hope I got that right, Chaz Palminteri, and Kathy Bates. And this is a remake of the 1955 French classic thriller. And it pretty much tells that story. The wife of the headmaster of a private school, played by Isabelle Adjani, again, I hope I got that right, is basically in misery. She is abused, used by the headmaster, played by Chaz Palminteri, who sees himself as pretty holier than thou. However, with the help of, more of the persuasion of one of the teachers, played by Sharon Stone, they kill him, supposedly, by drowning him in a bathtub. However, his body disappears when they bury him. I've actually seen the 1955 French film, and it's a classic. I remember really liking it. I haven't watched it since the one time I watched it, but I remember really liking it. This one, however, to quote another film directed by Jeremiah S. Chechik,
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
This was a frustrating watch, and make no mistake. I did like Isabelle Adjani. She thought she was the best part. Chaz Palminteri goes full psycho in this, to his credit. Like, he plays a believable, just psycho sociopath. Like, he's just a complete a-hole in this. And just, his role's pretty limited, but ultimately he does the job. So good on him. I feel like Sharon Stone kind of plays her role from Basic Instinct. I don't know. It could just be me, but I found a lot of similarities between the two. And I don't know. Just this one was just frustrating because there's a good story here. Kill a guy, but the body ends up disappearing. Did he survive? We don't know. But it was never in doubt in my mind what was going to happen. And then it doesn't help that most of the dialogue in this movie consists of the two ladies being like, we shouldn't have killed him. He was a terrible person and he needed done away with. And just in different settings across the school, it got tiresome. And then Kathy Bates comes in and she's fine and all, but ultimately I just thought she was just kind of there, really. I don't know, it just felt very repetitive, just all the time. Like, guys, like, just figure something out here, will you please? And then the logic in this movie is just all over the place. They poison Chaz Palminteri's character with poison whiskey, but it takes him like 5 glasses of whiskey for him to finally go out. It was supposedly supposed to be like fast acting, but he takes the one and he's already like lollygagging. Then he takes another one, he's still there. Another one's still there. And it takes like 5-6 shots for him to finally go down. And I'm just like, I've never been poisoned, but surely it's got to be more fast acting than that. Palminteri's body looks like something out of the Munsters, the original Munsters. There's just stuff in here that just doesn't make a single bit of sense, unfortunately. Largely, this movie's pretty forgettable. Just watch the French film. It's a whole lot better from what I remember from when I watched that for the first Why We Love Horror 2024 challenge. But now we go from thriller to comedy. Alleged comedy, more like. This is Flirting with Disaster.
Hospital, and we only had one head.
Flirting with Disaster.
Flirting with Disaster was directed by David O. Russell, who would go on to direct movies like Silver Linings Playbook, and is going to be directing, or has directed, the John Madden biopic that we're getting a little later on this year. Starred Ben Affleck, Patricia Arquette, Tia Leone, and more. It tells the story of a man played by Ben Stiller, who is dead set on meeting what he thinks is his biological mother. He was adopted and feels like he can't move on in life unless he knows who his mother is. And alleged hijinks ensue. I stress alleged because this movie is quite bad. It's just totally unfunny and very annoying. Like, and for no real reason, because Ben Stiller's funny. Patricia Arquette is the best part of this particular movie. Tia Leone's good. Mary Tyler Moore's in it. George Segal's in it. A baby-faced Josh Brolin is in this. What is he doing here? So you got good actors here, but they're just given nothing to do. And just all of this revolves around Ben Stiller just being Ben Stiller. The more Ben Stiller movies I watch, the more I realize he plays the exact same person. Like, just change his name, his occupation, the setting. He's the same guy. Like, he's neurotic, nervous, and kind of arrogant, but I guess his heart is in the right place? I don't know. He plays the hits. He's done that well, I guess, but just here it was just plain annoying. Like, there's a half-hearted attempt at, I guess, an affair with him and Tia Leone, and it just felt very awkward, I guess, by design, but it was hard to watch. Mary Tyler Moore plays Ben Stiller's mom, and somehow she is more unlikable than when she played an even more unlikable character on paper in Ordinary People. Like, I'll take the mom from Ordinary People over this mom any day. Her literal first scene is showing Patricia Arquette what a push-up bra is. Yes.
Don't want you polluting this beautiful Sussex County air with your language.
Josh Brolin, bless him, is trying. He and Richard Jenkins are a pair of federal agents, and they're funny together, and the movie should have been about them. But it is not. And instead, we're just stuck with these very miserable people, just going from one house to another, from one potential family to another, and they somehow get even worse as they go along. Like, the topper of all of it is this one family who the patriarch is played by Alan Alda, and he went to jail for roofying people with acid. I guess it's a more dignified way to go to the jail than financial fraud like he was in Tower Heist. This movie's horrid. David O. Russell is a weird director in that he directs some genuinely good stuff, and then he directs crap like this and Amsterdam. Yeah, this one's not good. But now, thankfully, we're back to the good ones, and just a genuinely weird little film, but a really good one nonetheless. From one Spike Lee, it's Girl Sex.
Girl Six.
She's the only thing better than being there.
Six was a Spike Lee joint, and it starred Teresa Randall, Isaiah Washington, Spike Lee himself, Jennifer Lewis, and more. It tells the story of a struggling actress played by Teresa Randall, who, out of desperation, takes a job at a phone sex hotline. The 90s, that's all that I can say. But she is a natural at the job and becomes quite good at it. She, however, becomes a bit too attached to the job, and she slowly starts to lose herself. Why was this good? Like, why was this actually really good? That's what I said to myself about an hour in. I was saying to myself, why am I invested in Spike Lee directing a movie about a woman who gets a job as a phone sex hotline operator? But yeah, the movie's really good. There's a good story here. Teresa Randall is really good. Isaiah Washington's good. Spike Lee in his few scenes is good. Jennifer Lewis is really good. Shout out to Envi from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And there are some surprising cameos in this, like Madonna's in this movie briefly. You've got Naomi Campbell in this movie. You got Richard Belzer as one of the callers. You got a pre-Sopranos Michael Imperioli in this movie as well. Peter Berg is actually given a bit of substance with his character, and he and Teresa Randall have a bit of a mini arc in the movie, and it's actually rather emotional. I won't spoil it, but just watch it for yourself. It's better than I would have imagined. I think the thing that annoys me the most, though, is some of the production choices. Like, first of all, when Teresa Randall's character gets some of the calls, you see some of the people who are sending the phone calls, and it's in a completely different aspect ratio in terms of cameras and filming and all that from what we've seen throughout the movie. Like, it seems in worse quality than what we see in the main storyline. It was a very weird choice, and I never understood that. And then you have and then you just have this whole subplot where you see this, I guess, this weird little subplot of this little girl who falls down an elevator shaft, and there's like some kind of mirroring with that. I don't know why that was there. It just made no sense to me. You know what? I'm going to give this a great rating. I have not watched all of Spike Lee's movies. I hesitate to say it's one of his best because I know that there are probably better ones than this. But if you were to tell me that I would like this one, I would have never believed you. But it's a hidden gem, to say the least. Not perfect, but when it hits, it really hits. But now we go from comedy back to drama and back to boredom. It's Land and Freedom. Land and Freedom was directed by Ian Hart, Rosanna Pastor, and Frederic Pierrot. I probably butchered that, and I'm sorry. And it tells the story of a man named David Carr, played by Ian Hart, who, during the 1930s Spanish Civil War, joins the side of the communists to fight against the overtaking of Stalin, or not against Stalin, but to overthrow the government there in Spain and install a communist one. However, he quickly realizes that over the course of time, not everyone is for the cause. It's a pretty fascinating premise. I love historical movies, and it covers a part of history that doesn't get talked about a lot, the Spanish Civil War, because it took place in 1936. There were a lot of bigger things happening in that time, so this one doesn't get talked about as much. But unfortunately, there's just not a lot to talk about with this because it's all just people in rooms talking. Like, it just feels like people in rooms talking. There are just people talking about the Comintern and just overthrowing fascists and stuff. And like, okay, like, that's fine and all, but I have to ask, when do you make it interesting? I'm not saying that every historical movie needs to be upped for dramatic effect, even though I'm sure most of them are, but I'm just saying, make it interesting. That is my point, and this one was not that. Even the battle scenes are kind of boring. They're just there, and this is definitely not a war movie. I want to stress that. This is more of a war drama, if anything. It's more like Lawrence of Arabia than Saving Private Ryan, if that makes any sense. But there's just, I don't know, there's just really nothing that I can think of with this one. This movie's pretty forgettable. I hate that I give it that ranking because it is an interesting story, but just not really much to recommend there. Next, we talk about the movie that did for solar racing what Cool Runnings did for bobsledding. It's Race the Sun.
Race the Sun.
My idea. It was my idea to come.
Race the Sun was directed by Charles T. Kanganis. Yeah, let's go with that. And the movie starred Halle Berry, Casey Affleck, and Elijah Dushku, among others. It tells the story of when in 1990, a group of Hawaii high school students enter a solar racing contest after being inspired by an idea they see at a science fair. This group of kids, led by their teacher, played by Halle Berry, and a cynical mechanic, played by James Belushi, all joined together to race in the World Solar Racing Challenge in Australia. I love a sports movie, and I love a sports movie based on a true story. And this one was a pleasant surprise. It's not perfect. It definitely feels derivative, and I'll touch on that in a second. But when the movie's on, it's actually quite good. Halle Berry's good. Casey Affleck, with some strange hair choices, is good as well. Elijah Dushku's good. James Belushi's good as well. Steve Zahn is also in the movie, and he certainly does an accent. That's for sure. Oh, and Joel Edgerton is in this movie with even more questionable hair. Like, seriously, get a comb, guys. What are we doing here? For me, the biggest problem was just how much it felt like Cool Runnings. Like, it felt like it copied the structure nearly beat for beat, except replace the bobsledding with solar car racing. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. It just feels very much like a we watched Cool Runnings once and we're trying to recite it from memory kind of movies. But I'm giving it the rating I'm giving it because of the actual race itself, which is actually very good. It was one of those sequences where I was watching it like, how did they pull that off? I have to know. So I'm going to give this a good rating, but a high good rating. It definitely is derivative. It definitely feels like you've seen it before, but the ending is genuinely great stuff. And if you watch it for no other reason, that's your reason. A really, really strong ending. But now let's cap things off by taking a look at a movie that honestly needs to be remade. It's Rasputin.
It took 300 years to build an empire and one man to destroy it.
Rasputin was directed by Uli Edel. Again, I'm just having all the names tonight. And it starred Alan Rickman, rest in peace, Ian McKellen, and Greta Scacchi. I probably butchered that totally. And this is a movie that tells the story of the life of Grigory Rasputin, who in the late 1800s convinced the Tsar of Russia and his family that he was an all-knowing priest who could heal them from their various injuries. He basically bamboozled these poor people. I say poor people, knowing full well that Tsar Nicholas was not exactly the nicest guy in the world, from what I've read from history, but it is what it is. Basically, Rasputin just pulled the wool over the eyes of these people. And this was an HBO movie, and I've talked about in various projects that HBO movies can be either really good or just plain, like, kind of there, really. This is kind of one in the middle where it's good, but it should have been better. Like, Alan Rickman and Ian McKellen are the reasons you should check this out, because they're both good. Alan Rickman, God bless him, rest in peace, is really good, and he does give the role socks. Like, when he is healing someone, he fully commits, and so I do appreciate that. Ian McKellen does a Russian accent that's actually quite good. He doesn't go over the top with it like full Nikita Koloff, but it's there, and it actually is good. My biggest problem here is that how short it feels. The movie's 90 minutes. It's an HBO movie, so of course, but this is a story that needs a big budget and like space to breathe, because this is an epic story of the collapse of this family and pretty much the end of one era of Russian history and the beginning of another. There's a lot you could do with that. Someone should get Denis Villeneuve on this like yesterday. But I am going to give this a good rating for the performances alone. But I pass it off to all of you. What did you think of any of the movies I've talked about? Let me know in the comments. I would love to read what you have to say. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.